Hello.
Yay!
Welcome.
To Nothing in Moderation
We're glad
podcast.
you could join us today.
It's our first episode.
Thanks for being here. I missed
Well,
you all. I love you deeply.
Are you Mr. Rogers?
No, I'm just soft-spoken. Go with the flow kind of guy.
I have never in my entire life heard anyone describe you as soft-spoken.
This is my newest persona. This is who I've become in the 2 weeks we've been off. Or week we've been off. So it was almost 2 weeks.
Does it feel like it? It's
I
been 2 weeks.
I almost fell asleep on the couch for the 30 minutes I was home before I started this.
Did you get to eat today?
Yeah, I ate at, the designated lunchtime.
Oh, you didn't eat dinner though. I know normally you're like, I just gotta shovel food down my gullet.
Dinner's in the oven. So,
oh, what you baking?
One of them, they're vegan pizzas. So I should probably turn these comments on so people can,
so people can share their comments.
Yeah, so they can think we care. We don't.
We do. We care about all of our fan.
All of our fan. Oh, we're already back down to one. They all left. Damn it.
Now that means the question is it your wife or mine?
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably yours. I think mine was dealing with dog stuff.
It might actually just be me.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you can.
That's a way to get good numbers. Watch your own stream. At least one person's watching us, I guess. Both of our wives gave up on us already, too.
That's all right. It's like real life. It's not just the podcast.
Yeah. What's going on, buddy?
Nothing, man. Just enjoying the news cycle, I think. Ugh. Seeing the things that people are outraged about is baffling to me, especially when the people who are outraged are complaining that other people are outraged, and that's what they are in fact outraged about, is the other outrage.
Yeah, the outrage circle is a little weird this time of year. So I don't know. I was at lunch today, and the subject of getting the vaccine or not came up, and one of the older guys that was at lunch with us was like, "Oh, I'm not getting it," and I was like, "Man, it's got a chip in it. I wouldn't get it either."
Just feed into it.
Oh, absolutely. And he's like, "Oh no," he's like, I don't know what the long-term effects are. I'm like, I gotta be honest with you, man. I'm like, I'm getting the vaccine, and I'm kind of hoping it gives me a third arm. I could use the help.
Right. You realize how many fewer hours I could work if I had a third hand?
For real. Like I wouldn't work all the overtime I do with a third arm.
Mine would just permanently give everyone the bird while I did everything else.
Yeah, that's all I need. Like people walk up and it's just third arm giving them the bird. So, listen, vaccinate me. I'm ready. I want a third arm.
I think
shit you could get done with a third member of any kind.
A lot of masturbating.
Well, yeah, there's that too.
Thanks for making it weird. You could definitely handle beat your dick December if you had a third arm, because you could still be productive.
It's the sleeping thing for me. Like it's the it's the getting the rest thing, especially when you get towards the end of the month. Like that's
a lot of dedication.
Yeah,
a lot of time.
Don't have it.
I don't know. I guess in my head, my hypothetical third arm that I get from a vaccination with a computer chip in it is somehow autonomous, and it does what it needs to do to get the job done.
Well, my favorite part is when I mentioned it having a chip in it, he just kept scrolling on Facebook on his phone. And the irony was not lost on me.
I understand the hesitation with the whole, it's brand new, we don't know what the side effect's going to be, and the argument of, well, it's in theory not death.
Yeah. So well, and that was actually, I made that point because he was like, oh, he's like, I know what my chances are to live if I get COVID. He's like, and he's like, if I get the vaccine, he's like, I could die too. And I'm like, well, yeah, you could die walking out the door of the restaurant today too.
And if you get mouthy.
What does that do? Yeah. Like, I don't understand your logic here, sir. Doesn't make no sense.
I think of it as like the first model year of a car. It's like, oh, we've got the brand new engine. It's like, yeah, I'm not buying it this model year. I'll wait.
Yeah.
I'll wait until you get the kinks worked out.
Yeah. Although I think I want one of those new Ford Mach-E's. So
really?
I've seen one in person and I kind of like it.
It's different. I had planned to try and bring us into some of the car conversations.
You're welcome. I'm a natural at this.
It's not like we planned this week.
Wait till you see the graphic I made for Dean's List to get us by.
Oh man, well we're gonna roll right into that because the Dean's List is automotive this week. Yeah. So I work in the automotive performance industry, and the EPA has started becoming more and more involved. Like it kind of goes in waves, and the whole Clean Air Act says essentially anything made after I think it's like 1974 or something of the sorts, 78, that has a VIN, which is a vehicle identification number,
Mm-hmm.
can't have the emission systems modified. So even if like you have a catalytic converter fail,
Mm-hmm.
in theory, by the letter of the law, you can't even remove the factory catalytic converter and replace it with a functional factory catalytic converter because you're modifying the emission system.
Mm-hmm.
And working in the performance industry, you see a lot
Your
of
ass down.
well, I mean, hot rodding started in California, and
Mm-hmm.
anyone who's into cars and performance understands that there's common things that are done. Tuning is done to the car, or different fuel, or turn the boost up, or whatever it is. And all of these things kind of violate the Clean Air Act. So the EPA has started visiting people. So it started in the diesel industry really bad, and there were like billions of dollars in fines.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started showing up at tuning companies and like jamming them up for a user option. So like in the device, you had the option to turn off the rear O2 sensors to where if you cut your catalytic converters off,
Mm-hmm.
you were choosing as the end user to bypass it and to not have the computer system look for it. Well, the tuning companies started getting fined for every one of those devices if they didn't update the software to delete that function. So it ended up being this whole fiasco, and there's billions of dollars spent every year in this industry, and there's lobbying, from SEMA and PRI and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, they've just really started hammering the tuning companies in the market that I work in. I work in the late model Mustangs and stuff, since you mentioned the Mach-E.
Mm-hmm.
And I told the owner of the company I work at, I was like, hey, since we work with swapping engines from newer model cars into older model cars, so they are more fuel efficient as a byproduct of performance, I was like, maybe we should start looking at doing electric swaps. Most of the manufacturers are talking about having their fleet moving over towards electric by 2030 or 2035 or
GM was
2040.
2035 being full electric.
Which one is?
GM
GM.
2035.
And I think Volvo set a goal of 2030.
Wouldn't surprise me. They're usually first for everything.
Right, them and Mercedes and stuff.
Yeah.
But I was like, it'd be pretty cool because I think GM offers in their catalog an electric swap option. Like it's nothing high performance, it's basic. But I was like, man, it would be super cool if you could get ahead of that curve and start like just take a Fox body and let's make it electric swap. Make it haul ass. I mean, it gets 100 miles of range or whatever, but it does a quarter mile in 10 seconds flat with an electric setup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it'd just be like, look what we've done.
Yeah. It'd be kind of cool.
Look at me now.
Hey, little fella.
But as the market moves towards that kind of stuff, you're going to have something, because there's always going to be people that want to modify their stuff. So what do you do?
Yeah. You put fucking drag radials on all four corners of a Tesla and go to the track.
Well, there was the kid who stripped one of them out completely and just had the seat, and he was out drag racing and like dragging everyone down the street.
That's the same kid he's got radials on all four corners, and it's an all-wheel drive Model S with a gutted interior.
He actually got retweeted by Elon Musk, and one of his YouTube videos blew up.
Yeah. I'm anti-Elon Musk. So
really?
Yeah. So I'm anti-Tesla, which is why I'm more interested in the Mach-E.
So you think that Ford is the more moral company?
No, I think they're both fucking terrible. Just Ford just doesn't say it out loud.
Oh.
Ford keeps the quiet part quiet. So
it's a mess. That whole thing's crazy.
Yeah, it's shit's wild. It's wild in these streets, sir.
But yeah, it's the EPA is definitely getting involved, and I'm sure if you're on Facebook at all, because we share some of the same friends that are in the car scene, there's a lot of pushback from that about fuck you, it's my car, I should be able to do what I want with it, it's my property, how can you tell me what to do, or how should a shop or a manufacturer be responsible for the end users and stuff like that. And I understand all of those arguments. I also understand the thought process from the authority of you can do what you want to yourself if it only affects you.
Yeah.
But if it affects everybody else, you can't just go around willy-nilly.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's a weird scenario, I guess. I don't know. I've never understood the need for the EPA to be as wild and crazy as they are. But I've also understood the need for them to kind of, I'm kind of with you. I don't really know where I stand.
It there's some stuff that seems to make sense to me, but
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone has a different standpoint on it. But like I don't really want nuclear waste being dumped in drinking water locations. I get that. I
Hmm.
don't want lead, being in a place that poisons people. I don't think that the water in Flint should come out flammable from the faucet. And
Yeah.
if there's got to be some sort of regulation so that people who are seeking purely profits don't just shaft everyone downstream, so to speak.
Speaking, and not to, I don't want to run off on a tangent on this, but I heard on today on the way home, I was listening to one of my NPR news just because they do like every hour they put out like a 5 minute podcast, but it's just like the top four headlines for that hour. Like there's
Okay.
not a lot of filler. It's fucking just this is what's happening. This is what it is. So I typically listen to it a couple times a day, and I've heard multiple times today that the CEO of the fucking Texas Power Grid is getting
Uh-huh.
fired. And I'm like, oh, cool, they're firing that fucking guy. Like if somebody needs to lose their job, like that was a fucking mess. And then they're like, he was served with a 60-day termination notice. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? Who gets those? How do you get a 60-day notice to get fired?
Yeah, I thought I had read that he resigned, but same
Well,
concept in those
then they
positions.
say that he's going to stick around for the 60 days to help the new person transition. Sir, you fucked this up already. We don't need your help. You
Hey,
got to go.
let me show you how to fuck it up.
Yeah, you
Let
sir,
me
you
let me
got
show you where I went wrong and got
no,
caught.
sir, you got to go. So that's so
Yeah,
wild. It's wild out in these streets, sir.
and he probably still gets like a what's the
Oh,
severance?
oh yeah. I'm sure it's a 7-figure severance. So capitalism and all.
Oh man, I don't want to get into all that.
No, I don't either.
It's a
Don't get me
topic for
started.
another time.
No, it's not a topic for public consumption. As I'm off the rails now.
Yeah, I had to delete some Facebook responses to stuff like
Mm,
and we'll get into all this separately because I want to go to the list I need you to call out on air.
okay.
The Dean's list while we're still talking about cars. Do you have a graphic?
Oh yeah, yeah. Hang on, I'm trying to share the screen. You know I suck at this. Give me a second.
Sorry, I froze.
Hey, it's the Dean's List.
Hey, what's that?
I don't know. It was just the first stock graphic that came up that I could type over.
Oh, okay.
Kiss
It
my whole ass.
kind of looks Icelandy.
Yeah, well, you see, you're welcome. I was thinking of you when I made it.
Speaking of, Iceland's actually having some seismic activity. There's concern 17,000 earthquakes in the last week,
Oh wow,
something like that. So there's concern one of the volcanoes will blow up again.
probably.
But
It wouldn't
so
be Iceland then. It would be Volcano Land.
yeah, that's just like Volcano Land actually has ice, and Iceland actually has volcanoes.
Oh, yeah,
I
you're
think
right.
that's how it goes. So
Mhm.
we had done the Dean's List before, where we each picked our top 8 live action shows and cartoons or animated shows, and kind of whittled them down. We were not prepared this week. I was not prepared,
I
so
was not prepared either. Actually, I was. You were probably way more prepared than I was. I don't know what to do with my hands.
so what I was thinking about this the other night, like like most of us car people do, what's my favorite car? What's the coolest car? Money, no option. Everyone has that
Mhm.
conversation of if I won the lottery, this is what I'd buy.
Yeah.
And Jay Leno has an awesome car collection, and so does Tim Allen and stuff. And I think we've talked about Tim on Trash or Treasure before.
Mhm. Mhm.
If you had to put together a list of 5 cars, and you can make it, one's a super sports car, one's a daily, one's a this, one's a that, or you can just
Only
say,
5 I can ever own, though.
uh, no, because I'm not gonna I'm not gonna make you pick like I should have. I'm not gonna make
Yeah.
you pick like a 98 Accord to take one of those top 5 spots so that you
No.
have something to drive forever. But it's 5 cars that if you were able to pick 5 cars and explain why these are your 5 favorite cars, they can be current models, they can be old models, if you want a Studebaker or whatever it
Mhm.
is, you can do something like that. But just a little reason as to why, whether
Sure.
it's the best looking in your opinion or the fastest or whatever it is.
Yeah. I mean, I that's actually a pretty easy list, I think.
You think so?
First pick would be early '80s T-Bird. Mostly because my mom had a Cougar when I was a kid, but I didn't like the Cougar as much as I liked the T-Bird of that same body style. Um, but like the 83-ish to 86 range of the T-Bird. Um,
Like the Super Coupe with a turbo,
no, no,
or
no.
like
That's
that time
that's
frame.
the previous body style. I'm talking like the ones that came with the Fox, the Four Eyes,
Okay,
the Four Eye
it's like
Thunderbirds.
85 and earlier.
Yeah, so 80, it's like 80 to 86, I think, is the actual year range.
Okay.
They're still Fox chassis, so they're a
Hmm.
lot easier to. Most of the stuff fits. Um, so that would be one for sure. Probably have a first gen DSM of some sort, whether it be Talon, Eclipse, Laser, whatever. Um, Mostly because it was like the first car I went like super fast in for the time. Like
Right.
I've been in much faster since then, but it was just the kind of that first car. Um, ugh, let's see.
Yeah. Easy
I would
list.
have um, a 488 Italia.
Okay. So that's a Ferrari, correct?
Ferrari, yeah, 488 Italia. Um, I would probably have I'd have a regular cab short bed pickup of some sort, probably like an 80s F-150, but I'd also settle for most any year range. Well, not any, from the OBS, like so like 96 and earlier, or then um like 2015 and up. Like, I don't want any of the middle shitty ones with like the 3 valve V8, like the
What
one I
is
have currently.
what does OBS mean? Because I've heard
Old
people
body
use
style.
old body style.
Old body
Okay.
style.
I heard someone referring to the front end as an OBS front end.
Yeah, all those square front ends are the OBS front ends.
Gotcha.
And then the F-150s break off into like den side and bump side.
Right.
It gets crazy. But definitely either an older or new F-150 regular cab short bed. So we got that, the Ferrari, the
The
T-Bird,
DSM.
the DSM, and then probably like a Maybach of some sort, something luxury. So probably
So
like
you'd
a Maybach or maybe a Wraith.
okay,
Bentley
so you'd have a luxury vehicle.
Mhm.
You'd have two nostalgia vehicles that could be
Mhm.
driven whenever type deal in
Yeah,
theory.
yeah.
You'd have a utility vehicle in the truck,
Mhm.
and then you'd have the look at my wiener car.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Okay. I can see that.
Yeah. So that's where that's me.
That's not a bad list.
That's what my stable is.
I just could you imagine pulling up to someone's garage and it's like Ferrari, Maybach,
It's actually, it would be
Gen
even
1
funnier if
DSM.
you parked it like 80s Thunderbird, Gen 1 DSM, pickup truck, Maybach, Ferrari. Like, sir, what? What's going on here? I'd be with
And
it.
and which one runs
Yeah, I mean,
the truck?
if they're mine, a hit or miss, the truck's probably the best chance.
Yeah, but that's my situation. The truck runs.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Truck runs, I don't.
not unless the ice cream man's getting away.
Yeah, and even then, I'm like, he'll be back tomorrow.
But I want my fudge thickle.
What about you? What you got? What's your 5? Since you've had time to
So
think about it.
I really haven't thought about it as much as I'd want to make a solid list. I really like the late 80s style Porsche 911s, early 90s, the ones with a big whale tail
Yep.
on them.
Yep.
I've always, since as a kid, I like the Porsche 911s with a big whale tail on them, preferably turbo type situation. I really like the FD RX-7. I think it's probably one of my favorite looking cars of all time.
Yeah, it's probably up there.
Yeah.
A number 6 for me would have been that or a Supra, like an MK4.
Okay.
So
I definitely like the McLaren F1. I know that's kind of super carish.
I'd actually pay money to see you get in and out of one of those
Just once.
just once.
So that's 3. So it's McLaren, FD,
Mhm.
Porsche 911.
Mhm.
Well, see, now my brain doesn't work anymore. I think it'd be really cool if you could get one, which you can, but they're called GTIRs. Nissan made them. They were super low production number. They meet homologation rules and stuff, but they're a hatchback. They look like a GTI essentially, but they're the badass individual throttle bodied 4-cylinder turbo all-wheel drive. Like they're just badass little hot cars, for lack of a term, hot hatches.
Wouldn't Lotus have made something similar in cooperation with Isuzu?
That I don't know.
Is that what we're thinking? I got to pull up a picture of the GTIR now.
Yeah, it's
'Cause
also
I'm
called
not-
it was a Sunny it's a Pulsar GTIR or a Nissan
Okay.
Sunny in Japan. They called it the Baby Godzilla.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So it's like I mean, honestly, it looks like a hatch, like
It
any
is a hatch.
hatchback Civic.
Yep. Or yeah, like an EF or something. It's got it looks like the GTIs of the time frame, except with a weird hood scoop on it, like a honeycomb hood scoop.
Yeah.
They're just unsuspecting, and the engine can make a fair amount of power, and it'd just be funny as shit to have something that light that you can click off a fast time on. And I think because that one popped into my head and it left. I think I'd want an SUV like a Nissan Patrol or something like that.
I don't know if anybody can see that. That's the GT one, just an example of the GTIR. So it's not a very good picture.
But something like a Nissan Patrol or the Lexus equivalent, just a full size SUV with an engine that's good to go. The Patrols could be had with like an RB48 in them.
Oh, cool.
Which is a crazy straight six. But I think that's probably where I'd be. I think those are really cool vehicles. Another one that was in the running that the reason it didn't beat the Patrol is because I forgot it until I finished my list. Is Ford made an RS200.
Oh yeah.
For Spec B Rally, it's ugly, but it is
all those rally cars they had to make to meet standards to get into rally were ugly.
Right. Well, and so they made only enough of them to meet the minimum production numbers, and they were 1980s/90s mad scientists, unlimited budget, go out and make whatever you want. And it's like, well, we put a smaller turbo on it to make it a production car, and all you need is a turbo, and it'll make like 600 horsepower back then.
Carroll Shelby made us a bunch of money, so we're going to get into other forms of racing.
Yeah. It was wild. People were dying like left and right in Group B Rally. No power limits, no weight limits.
Yeah, that's crazy.
2,000-pound cars, 800 horsepower, and fucking flying.
Well, I'm gonna stay on cars real quick for my video if you're ready to move on. Also, I'm disappointed that a Fox body isn't on your list.
So that's on my budget list because I've had half a dozen of them, but I do wish I still had the wagon.
So we got
oh, hey, look at those guys.
Hey, videos you should have seen.
It's Bill and Ted.
This week we're going to take a trip to an icy lake.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's Wisconsin 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, basically. So let me turn this shit on. Hey, so this is a RC car that they have affixed saw blades to his wheels and then drove it on an icy lake. So
it's a high-speed pizza cutter.
Yeah. We'll probably get a copyright thing for this, I'm sure. So I'll talk about the X-Max when he's done, because the X-Max is like the creme de la creme of Traxxas RCs.
It's all foreign.
Those are also the cheapest fucking like Hart Walmart saw blades that you can buy.
I can't hear what he's saying.
He says, "Don't try this at home; it will ruin your carpet."
So these are the all-wheel drive ones. So there's a motor on each wheel.
Yeah, they're 4-wheel drive. There's only one motor. It's just they have a drive shaft and differentials.
Oh, okay.
And this is, they say it's on an 8S battery. And an 8S like will do well over 100 miles an hour in the right kind of car straight out of the box.
As in 100 real world miles an hour, not 100 scale, right?
Yes, correct. So the X-Max starts like for the base model kit is like $1,000 just for the RC car.
Holy cow.
Yeah, and that looks like it's got a wide body kit on it and a lot of other like that's
cheap hobby, right? I think that's what you said.
Yeah.
If
you don't get this far into it, it is a cheap hobby.
he's got more money just in that chassis than I have in the whole Miata.
You are correct. You are correct. So, all right. Oop. So that was my video you should have seen for the week.
You're that deep into RC cars.
My brother sent me that last night. So
I think when I first saw the full size cars drag racing on the ice, like with the nails sticking out of their tires, I'm like, now that's fucking cool.
Yeah, that's sketch at best.
Yeah, well, I mean,
oh shit, over here breaking stuff.
We have guard goats, and the speaking of sketchy, the guard goats were making a bunch of noise yesterday, and we didn't think anything of it. We were like, it's getting close to dinner time. They're just being loud. And I go outside, and the neighbor's house has some people that I haven't seen before, and they're kind of walking around the yard and pointing at the property line and stuff. And I knew the house was for sale, but 2 and 2 didn't make sense at that time. And I saw along the property line where I just put up the fencing, there was a person kind of just sitting on the ground with a backpack over by the retention pond fence. And I was like, oh, it's probably the kid of whoever's over here looking at the house. So I go walking over to the field fence, and I'm talking to the potential new neighbors. So that was kind of fun. And I was like, well, now they're leaving, and this person sitting over here by the retention pond isn't moving. Like they're moving, but they're not leaving with them. So it's clearly not their kid. And I think between our property and the neighbor's property, it's a total of like 5 acres, and we're a fair amount off the road. So I'm like, well, now I'm going to go talk to this person sitting by the retention pond fence. And I get up there, and it's a female wearing a hoodie sweatshirt and who has 3 backpacks.
Hey, nice new backpack.
And like a pair of yoga pants and like Crocs. And I was like, okay. So I start talking to them.
Get out.
Well, yeah. And then I get closer, and I see that there's like trash all on the ground, like paper and water bottle. And I'm like, okay, I see what's going on here. 3 backpacks.
Yeah.
You know, look like you're wearing the same clothes for the last week. You're leaving trash all on the property. You're an urban outdoorsman, and you've found a spot on the property.
Yeah.
And so I start talking. 40. Yeah, I start talking to this person, and they're like, "Oh man, it looks so much different out here from the last time I was here." And I'm like, "Oh, when was the last time you were here?" And she's like, that's a good question." I was like, "Oh, you should pick up your trash." And she's like, "That's not mine." I'm like, "You should pick up your trash and you should leave." And so she ended up picking up the trash like over the course of the next 10 minutes and left the property. Like I wasn't trying to make a big deal about it. And so she leaves. In front of our house is a church, like in front of her property. So a buddy shows up, and he's like, "Hey, there's some girl wandering around at the church, like using the hose and stuff like that out back." And so I walk up there, and I can see it's the same person, and she's like talking to herself. And I'm like, all right, maybe it's a mental health related issue or drugs or something. And come to find out, this person, our actual paved driveway runs between 2 other pieces of property. This person was hiding in the driveway area, and the neighbors caught them, told them to leave. They walked down the road and got onto our property through the church property. I caught them, told them to leave. And then the neighbors caught them later after dark in the driveway area again. So I was like, oh, okay. So I had called law enforcement just to let them know, hey, suspicious person on the property. This is what, this is what they look like, what they're dressed as. Yeah. I was like, if someone just wants to come out and make sure she's not having a mental health related issue and needs help, if she needs help, I want to make sure she gets help. But I also want to document that there's a stranger wandering around on my property in case something happens. So, but it was an interesting situation. And I'm telling Paul about it. He's like, I don't know, man, that's sketchy.
Yeah.
He's like, that's sketchy.
Yeah. She was there to see him.
Oh God.
Just kidding, Paul.
He won't watch this.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah.
All right.
It was a good time. That was our adventure yesterday, was the person setting up camp on the property.
It's a sweet adventure.
Yeah. It's all right. Just have to go visit them at home.
Damn it.
Would you get kicked off of YouTube?
No. I'm trying to line up the trash or treasure graphic. It's not working out for me. Oh God. Oh God.
Did you see the Ashley's comment?
No.
Oh. said he kicked the one night stand out of the trailer. But before we get into trash or treasure, I did write.
Uh-oh.
I have a challenge for you. I have a not so general knowledge question for you to see if you knew this or if you're going to have a realization like I did.
Okay.
And then I have another non-list item. So which one do you want to do? We can do all three.
Let's do the general knowledge question.
Okay. So if you watch the news and then the weather comes on and the weather says you have a 30% chance of rain, do you know what that actually means?
I mean, I assume it means that there's a 30% chance that it will rain today.
That it will rain today, or a 30% chance it'll rain on like that zip code today, as a for instance?
I would just assume the city as a whole.
Okay.
So like if you're like, oh, I got a 30% chance of rain in Orlando today, I assume that there's a 30% chance that somewhere in Orlando it's gonna rain.
So that's what I thought too. It's like, we think that there's about this percentage chance that you guys will get rained on, but then 70% chance that the city won't get rained on, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is not what it means. So if
this is not general knowledge, by the way. This is not.
That's why I said
this is a. Know.
That's why I said this is a not general knowledge question.
Oh, I guess I missed the not part because I was like, there's nothing general about this piece of knowledge that you're bequeathing upon me.
So if they say there's a 30% chance of rain in Orlando, that means there's 100% chance that somewhere in the city of Orlando there will be rain, but only 30% of the city is going to be rained on.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
So if there's a 60% chance of rain, that means there's 100% chance it's going to rain in Orlando, but only on 60% of the land.
You know what? I like you. I'm taking you to fucking trivia with me.
So Ashley and I learned this and we're completely fucking mind blown. And
I can see your mind socks up on the top of the night.
Up there. Up there. So we go over to Matt and Louie's house. Well, we go over to Louie's house, Matt's house, to hang out with Matt and Louie. And I asked that question the way I asked it to you. Mm-hmm. And Matt immediately knew the correct answer.
Of course he did.
And Louie's like, really? And I'm like, you motherfucker. And he's like, yeah, you guys didn't know that? And I'm like,
he goes to trivia.
Well, no. Ashley goes, how on earth did you know that? And I was like, well, Matt's dad has a meteorology degree. Maybe it's something they've discussed in passing. He's like, no, when I was in the engineering program, it came up. And I was like, well, none of us went to the engineering program.
True.
But
and it shows.
By my haircut. Yeah. It's non-structural.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a fun one.
That was pretty fun. What was your other one? What else you got? I'm liking this.
Okay. I want you to listen to what I say carefully, and then I want you to try and repeat it as quickly as you can. Okay? So like a tongue twister. So the way it works is you say one sock cutter.
I'm not doing it.
Have you done this one?
In the TikTok videos.
Well, at least try it.
Right.
The one sock cutter, he cuts socks. Two sock cutters, they cut socks.
So he cuts socks, they cut socks.
Right.
All right, so one sock cutter, I'm gonna screw it up. One sock cutter, he cuts socks. Two sock cutters, they cut socks. God damn it! At least I didn't say it.
Keep going.
I don't know what was the third one.
Three sock cutters. They cut socks. And then 4 is they, 5 is they, 6, and you're just supposed to be
they. So 5. I'm not gonna keep going. That's fine.
Oh. So
you just want me to say cocksucker. How's that?
One sock cutter, he cuts socks. Two sock cutters, they cut socks. 3 sock cutters, they cut socks. 4 sock cutters, they cut socks. 5 cocksuckers.
See, I wouldn't have got much further than you.
And it's a party.
Man, it's a party. Shit just got weird.
The last one I want to do with you is and you don't have to dig too deep. Just what do you think is the worst decision you ever made given the circumstances? Like you go, this is going to be a dumb decision, and it turned out good.
Well, it wasn't the time I tried to jump the trailer with my RC.
No. But like I'll tell you which one I can think of immediately that comes to mind that was a bad decision. Like my choice was bad. I should have chosen something different.
I got it.
But it turned out really well.
Go ahead.
So when Ashley, before we were dating, had sent me the link for Penelope, at the Orange County Animal Control. I was not in a situation at all where I could afford to take on an animal. Like I had just, got fired from the sheriff's office, and you were living with me. Like it was a whole fucking financial
nobody's
nightmare.
paying rent. You don't have any
Right.
money. I'm not paying rent. It's wild.
I own a hobo ranch effectively at that point. And
wait, I think that was the time I paid rent.
Maybe, but
Yeah,
I tried to get her adopted, and I couldn't, and I didn't want to let her get destroyed. She's too cute, so I went and adopted her anyway. I didn't have any income, and I came out of pocket, the $100 or whatever to adopt her. And then I'm like, all right, well, what do I do about a veterinarian? What do I do about food? What do I do about all this? And there were definitely hard times along the way where she got to eat and I didn't, type deal. But it was a very bad decision. Like it was not the right decision for me to make financially, or like it was the wrong choice.
Yeah.
And at this point in my life, I could not be happier that I made the wrong choice at that time, because I have Penelope. Everything's great. She's a great companion, and she ended up helping me, through hard times and stuff like that. So on the surface, at the time of making that decision, that was a dumb or a poor decision, and it turned out great.
Okay.
So do you have anything like that?
Because it's twofold. The poor decision was getting involved in car audio.
Okay. I think
the greatness that came out of it was my wife and sort of you. Only sort of you.
Only sort of me?
Only sort of you.
Because I'm not that great.
I mean, you're all right.
Yeah.
I've had worse times with better people. Wait.
Better times with worse people?
Yeah, either way. However you want to say it. Whatever makes you feel less offended. I don't want you to cancel me.
Yeah. Well, all I know is when I order a potato at a restaurant now, I have to specify the gender of that potato.
Do you?
I don't know. That's how
I don't go to restaurants. And if I did, I wouldn't order potatoes.
I don't eat potatoes.
Yeah. I mean, I eat a potato. I actually had potatoes the other night. We bought these. We're doing the vegan update at the end, which is weird. I don't know how we do this.
Was it a boy potato or a girl potato that you ate?
It was a bunch of little tiny potatoes. So I don't know,
So
and I'm not, I don't care how the potatoes identify, because that shit doesn't matter to me. If they wanted to be, whatever, I don't care. They're potatoes. That's what I know them as.
That's where I'm at with that topic.
I'll call you Einstein. So if fucking you want to be called he or they or she or them, I'll call you whatever the fuck you want me to call you. Shit don't matter to me. But we bought these fucking like baby potatoes, like prepackaged in a little tray with seasoning, and all you had to do is throw them in the microwave, put some butter in the seasoning packet on them, mix them up. But we opened the package and it smelled just like a fucking pile of dirt inside. And now I know potatoes grow in dirt. Yes, that's true, actually. It smelled like absolute dirt, and I'm like, oh, these aren't going to be that good. They're going to end up tasting like dirt. Like we rinsed them off and shit just to be sure, but
right. I mean,
surprisingly they didn't taste like dirt, and they were pretty delicious. We had those with our vegetarian fish fillets. So.
What is a vegetarian fish fillet made of?
Gardein makes them. I'm sure they're made out of soy, but they're like little fish. They're not fish sticks, but they're like little triangle fish patties.
Do you like fish sticks?
Fish sticks.
What are you, a gay fish?
But yeah, no, I'm back on the vegetarian wagon. I stumbled and fell off it for a few weeks and binged on meat. So,
what kind of meat you eat?
I just mostly Chipotle. I'd get chicken in my bowl.
I mean, that's not too extreme.
No, I didn't get too crazy. I haven't eaten pork in fucking forever. So there's variants on vegetarianism, pescatarian and just different names for every variety. Well, see, that's the thing. There's vegetarian is vegetarian.
But a vegan's a vegetarian, right?
A vegan is a extreme vegetarian.
Right. So I guess
because like a vegetarian eats dairy.
Right.
Vegans don't eat anything.
Animal products.
And then if you eat like fish, you're like a pescatarian or
so as you add different items, they get different terms.
Yeah.
So I can't remember if I asked you this.
Vegan is the mothership.
If lab grown meat is a thing.
We have talked about this, and I don't think I remember. I think I remember saying I don't know how I feel, and I don't think I've changed that stance yet.
Gotcha. So I didn't know if lab grown meat would end up disqualifying you as a vegetarian, or
no, it's not.
Or will it end up being I only eat vegetables and lab grown meat, and then you'll be a Labrador or something.
I like it. I could be a Labrador. So my thing, God damn it, I gotta stop playing with this thing. Take it away from me. Um, my thing with the lab grown meat is like, or is vegans. Most of them don't eat animals due to harm reasons. They don't want the animals
Right.
to, be harmed in any way, which is fine. Um, if no animals harmed in lab grown meat, then where's the? I
How
don't
does
know.
it violate that ethical
I
issue?
don't know. I mean, it doesn't
No,
for me.
it's a
So.
little. They take a cow and they pet him real nice,
Mhm,
or her,
mhm,
and they swab the inside of their cow mouth,
mhm.
and then they use those cells and grow steaks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd give it a whirl. So
Well,
I'm
yeah,
still
I mean,
skeptical.
whenever lab grown
I'm
meat is
more likely to
affordable,
get a vaccine than I am to eat lab grown meat.
I mean, I would try lab grown meat. I have zero issue trying it. And
Yeah.
I saw a bunch of statistics, and I don't know how accurate any of it is, but the amount of carbon that it'll cause per pound of meat, and the amount of water it'll consume per pound of meat, and the amount of this, and blah 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 blah. And it's like, oh well, if the argument is I want to be vegetarian or vegan to have a smaller carbon impact on the environment to, contribute blah 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 blah,
That
then it would.
annoys me too. Like,
Well, I mean, everyone has their own motives.
can we be real about the actual culprits of where we need to cut our carbon footprint? And it's not fucking me not eating meat. Like, I'm not gonna make a dent in our fucking environmental issues by not eating meat. Like,
Well, not as an individual, but
there's an Amazon warehouse at every exit off the interstate now. I'm going to assume they're doing a little more damage to the carbon footprint than I am by
yeah,
not eating meat. Like,
what if none of them eat meat?
it's valid. I mean, if that's the case, I mean, we need to talk to Jeffrey and see, what his deal is. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
We'll have to
it's
get
just the
Jeffrey's
whole
opinion
idea.
on that one.
Everyone's small country. If everyone picks up one piece of trash, collectively as a whole, you make a big impact.
I guess.
Yeah.
But then you got assholes out here not picking up their share of trash.
Yeah,
Just talking shit to other people for picking up trash.
they're just walking around throwing trash everywhere on other
Yeah.
people's property. And
They're
it's saying,
throwing 2 pieces of trash down for every piece I pick up.
yeah, I mean, I definitely knew people that said the world is my ashtray. I'm going to throw my cigarette butts wherever I want. Yeah, smokers
Used to
are
be me.
a lot of smokers are like that.
Used to be me. I will never remember, or I will never forget. I went to California when I worked for Lockheed. I got off the plane for the first time. I got my rental car. I pulled out to the stoplight about to get on the freeway and get my first experience of the Interstate 5 in Southern California.
Mm-hmm.
And I just finished a cigarette and I flicked it out the window like I normally would do. And this fucking lady rolled her window down, looked me dead in the face, and said, "You don't fucking litter here, you piece of shit." And
Good.
rolled her window up
Shame
and
you.
drove off. I was like, "I'm sorry." Oh,
You're also not thinking about the wildfire you're trying to cause.
And then I lit another cigarette and promptly flicked that one out the window as well when I was done with it. So fuck her.
Sharing it.
Yeah.
We're gonna for April. We're gonna do vegan again. We're gonna do a whole month of vegan, but we're gonna do whole foods. So like we're gonna do a lot of crock pot meals and stuff like that. No pasta.
Yeah.
Just try and keep it. The ingredient is the ingredient, and we're gonna we'll see how that goes.
Good luck. Via con Dios, asshole.
I mean, we went from full carnivore to full vegan and for a month, and it was an interesting.
That's where the vegan update came from. Was that
right?
So we were waiting. It was a shit your pants update. So.
There you go. It's that's what we're doing for April Fools to ourselves.
Speaking of shit in your pants, you ready to get into trash or treasure?
I think so. This was supposed to be your week, and you sprung it on me 3 minutes before we went on that I need to do it. So, yay! Trash.
Treasure. So,
I meant to tell you, we need to get some Ren and Stimpy clips because Ashley showed me some stuff.
After what the fuck happened last time we showed TV show clips?
Okay,
we're not getting any clips.
We just need to send them back and forth because they are absolutely out of control.
That's fine. Send me Ren and Stimpy clips.
All right. So for Trash or Treasure, in case for some reason someone is listening or watching now that has never seen it before, I pick somebody and I don't tell Mike who it is. I'm going to give him some hints and he's going to try and guess who it is. They're going to get more and more revealing as we go, and then we'll make a decision about this person.
By that, I mean I take my shirt off the longer he talks.
Ooh, that is correct. And then we'll make a decision if they are, in fact, trash or treasure. You ready, buddy?
I am.
All right. This person was born in Chicago in 1901.
Michael Jordan.
It is not Michael Jordan. Born in 1901.
I stopped listening to Chicago.
This person was an entrepreneur, amongst other items. This person was involved in the movie industry.
I mean, it still could be Michael Jordan, honestly.
It could be Michael Jordan.
You've not disqualified him yet.
Let me see. He was the fourth son in the family, born in Chicago. Like I said, it was not Ben Affleck. He's from Boston.
No.
Let's see. Him and his family moved to Missouri after being in Chicago.
How would you do that?
Yeah, in 1906, by the way.
Gross.
Fell in love with trains as a kid.
Everything I know about Missouri, I learned from Ozark. So,
which, oh man, everything I know about Missouri, I learned from Tech 9. Moved to Kansas City in 1911.
That sucks too. God damn.
Yeah. They used
Tech
to.
9?
It was. This person had a brother named Roy, and they used to wake up at 4:30 every morning to deliver newspapers. Back when that was an actual way to try and earn some money. The person attempted to join the U.S. Army to fight the Germans in 1918. Let me see. This is a really not good one that I'm doing, by the way. This person got into animation as a form of movies at a young age.
Is it Dr. Seuss?
It is not Dr. Seuss, but that is a good guess. This person studied Aesop's Fables as a model.
Is it? It wouldn't be Walt Disney.
It is actually Walt Disney.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so he was involved with like Felix the Cat and Alice in Wonderland.
Look at me out here doing the fucking Lord's work.
Yep, he got married the first time to one of his ink artists in 1925 in Idaho, which we might go to on vacation. Most people know him for like Steamboat Willie.
Yeah.
Obviously the Mickey Mouse. 34 through 41 is considered his golden age. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So Walt Disney, being a Central Florida person and Disney being in our backyard, we know the name and we know a bunch of the positive stuff of the legacy. 26 Academy Awards, 3 Golden Globes, an Emmy.
Lots of negative stuff too, though. I feel like as a former Disney employee, you're not allowed to speak of those things, but
right, allegedly has his head cut off and frozen inside Cinderella's castle here in Florida. Trying to get to the sketchy stuff. I know one of the things was
more logical than the QAnon stuff.
The long running thing is produce some fairly racist overtone stuff during a time frame where it was more generally accepted or less pushed back against anti-Semitic stuff. Disney is known.
I know Family Guy makes fun of it in multiple episodes about their anti-Semitic.
Yeah, there was an episode where each scene of Family Guy was done in a different animation style.
Yeah.
And they did a Disney animation style, and when Mort showed up, they started screaming "the Jew" and attacked him and stuff. Let's see. The feature film Song of the South was criticized by contemporary film critics, the NAACP, and others for its perpetuation of black stereotypes, but Disney later campaigned successfully for an honorary Academy Award for its star. First black actor so honored. Some people had said Walt Disney is no racist. He never, either publicly or privately, made disparaging remarks about blacks or asserted white superiority. Like most white Americans of his generation, however, they were racially insensitive.
I don't know. I'm gonna go trash just because I hated working there. So,
it's the mouse is definitely an interesting thing. I mean, they're buying up everything. They own Marvel Studios. They own all of Fox except for Fox News and I think Fox Sports, or did they get Fox Sports? They had huge multi-billion deal.
No, because they own ESPN too. So
Right. But they've had the Disney Wild World of Sports complex forever. That was part of ESPN, I thought. But
It's just the ESPN Wide World of Sports. It's
gotcha.
just how they branded it. So, but they've owned ESPN for years because they own ABC, and ABC is actually who owned. I think ABC owned ESPN originally.
Gotcha.
So,
They're an unstoppable machine.
oh yeah,
And I love that South Park South Park murdered Winnie the Pooh, and they portrayed Mickey Mouse as like an evil crime boss that that got a so the COVID-19 started when Mickey Mouse convinced Stan Marsh to have sex with a bat in a wet market while they were
Jesus
high on
Christ,
drugs.
what the fuck?
Yeah, you must not have paid
South Park's
attention
off
to
the
last
rails.
season.
I
Oh,
I haven't watched South Park in seasons.
oh man,
So
it's so good. It's been 9 months, I think, since they've had a
I don't
new
know.
episode, or
You'd think
September.
they could draw, new episodes from home. Got plenty of content.
The 6 Days to Air is a great documentary if anybody wants
Mhm.
to see how South Park does what they do in under a week from coming up with an idea to making the episode. It's great.
Yeah.
I can't believe they haven't had another COVID episode or the election special or
I can't
anything.
believe it's not butter.
Oh, parquet.
Yeah, so Disney's definitely trash. The
Yeah, he's
park and the
trash.
guy. So
Oh, but it's the
yeah.
happiest place on earth
No, it really isn't. It's absolutely miserable.
for
So
employees. It's
and
interesting to me
there
that,
are employees that absolutely fucking love it and would
oh yeah,
they would slap the shit out of your face for saying that it sucks or that, I hated it there.
one of
Every
one
second
of
of it.
one of my instructors from a previous job is like a Disney fanatic, like has Disney stuff all over the house and has a Disney themed room, and like and one of my other
Grow up,
coworkers goes
Peter
to
Pan.
Disney all the time goes to Disney all the time, and I don't get it. Like it's magical or whatever, but it's always so crowded, and that's not for me. But like Universal seems a little bit more grown up.
I
Like they're
guess.
instead of being aimed at like 5 to 10 year olds, it's aimed at like 8 to 15 year olds, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Which is where I am mentally, so
Right, forever. And we don't grow up in our brains, we just get bigger.
Mhm.
but no,
That is accurate.
I don't understand the obsession with it. I mean,
Mhm.
there's a lot of stuff they do that people don't realize, and they're a logistics company essentially at this point.
Most businesses are, they just don't realize it or won't admit it.
Right. I mean, that's all Amazon has become. Yeah, we think of them as
Oh, yeah.
a retailer, but it's a logistics company.
They're a logistics company.
So, but yeah, he trash.
Yep, he trash. So, well,
So if anybody wants a keychain or a sticker, just
send
get
us
with
a
us.
DM,
There it is.
all two of you.
Yep.
So,
Where is our
Waldo?
things down here?
I don't know. They wouldn't show up. I couldn't get them to show up. I'm not sure what the fuck's going on.
Well,
So,
that's okay. It's not like the people who listen to the podcast can see what's going on.
that's true. That's true. So, are you ready to get out of here, buddy?
Regular listeners, we love you if you've made it
We
this
do
far.
love you. We do. We are glad you joined us this evening. We miss you dearly.
To all the Joshes and the Chris's and the Billies and the
Eh,
anyone else who listens.
I don't know about the Joshes.
Oh, I know of two Joshes that listen to the show.
Oh,
So that's why I said it.
I don't think one of the Joshes listens. I think he just says he does.
I mean, he
We'll
probably
find out. I'll let you know.
We'll find out.
He won't let me know.
No,
Because he can't. I'm not on the Facebook. I mean, I am, but I don't fucking. I go
don't
on,
go
I look
on
at
it.
my RC groups, and I fucking leave. So,
Yeah, I do the work stuff on it, and then I try and stay off it for the most part.
yeah. I actually have gotten in the habit every day this week. I broke down and bought a new phone.
Hey,
Yeah.
what's up, man?
I fucking hey, that's what's up, man. Sorry, I didn't have the chat thing open. I didn't see it. I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? No, I finally broke down and bought a new phone. But I've been having such a bad time at work that I was like, man, it can't be me. Like or like it's got like there's some like I have to be doing something wrong. What is it? Like how am I wasting my time? Like there's no way my job should take me as long as it does. I'm wasting my time somehow. So I fucking
TikTok.
woke up Monday morning. I deleted every social media app off my phone: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Which fucking who gets on LinkedIn for anything ever?
Destry.
I only get on LinkedIn to look at the weird shit my Trump supporting coworkers like on LinkedIn that's political, and then I screenshot it, send it to those of us that laugh at them, and move on. I deleted that. I deleted fucking Reddit. The only thing I didn't delete was my news app, and I don't really go in there that often anyway. So like, I fucking deleted everything. I downloaded an app that lets me like put in all the tasks that I do and like start and stop a timer so I see how much time I spend doing them. And it's not me.
You mean it's not distractions?
It's not. Yeah, no. I mean, like I am not distracted. Like they're not on my phone. Like I uninstall them every morning, and then I reinstall them every evening because there's apps that you can block it with, but they're a pain in the ass. So it's easier for me to uninstall and then reinstall. Like my passwords are saved.
Pick your phone up.
I have to have it in my hand because I use it as my phone for work and other shit. So like it's there all the time. So I just fucking I'm just glad it's not me.
There's just not enough hours in the day to do what you do. Is that what you said?
Yeah, basically. So
yeah, I keep hearing you complain that after 4 days of work, you're at over 40 hours. And I was like, I did that for 4 years.
Yeah, by choice.
Yeah.
I made a lot more money than I do.
No, your base pay rate, what you told me, is higher than what I made with overtime.
Yeah, well, sorry about your luck. Keys in my ass.
I'm just saying, and all I got out of it was a free bulletproof vest.
Yeah. Didn't you have to turn that back in?
I turned in the one that had been issued to me, but I grabbed a spare from inventory because they're only good for like 2 years or whatever it is. Only good.
They expire.
Yeah, they expire.
Does the bulletproofness go bad?
Yeah, it's a temporary coating, but yeah, they just throw them out at the end of whatever time frame, or they take them up and they shoot them or whatever it is so that they're destroyed. And I had one and put it in a tactical carrier and I kept it in the car for when I was off duty. So that one was mine. I still have it. It still says sheriff on it.
It's a wild world we live in when that makes sense to most of us.
Yeah.
To carry a spare bulletproof vest in your car.
Yeah, or you have it on the dashboard type deal to where if you're driving to an active shooting call and you see somebody walk out in the road with a gun, you can push up on it to the windshield and just hope for the best. And you try to run them over.
Jesus Christ. All right, buddy. You ready to get the fuck out of here? I got to go eat dinner.
Man, I wonder what we're having for dinner.
I don't know. She's telling you, I'm sure.
Oh, we'll find out. I like to be surprised.
Good luck. Good luck, everybody else. Oh. All right, buddy. I'll catch you next week. Don't do anything crazy.
I'll do my best. I'll see you in 2 weeks, probably.
Probably. We'll see. I mean, I got fucking nothing. I'm not making any promises about next week. Yeah, it's too early to make promises.
We'll try and do it a different day, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see what we can come up with. Ugh, that seems even worse.
So just for what it's worth for anyone, I just got a notification from the Twitter space that federal investigators are examining communications between members of Congress and the attackers of the Capitol.
Yeah, seems about right.
So,
no surprise there.
Well, I mean,
womp, womp, womp,
we'll see.
All right, buddy. We're out of here.
We'll catch you guys.
Don't do anything crazy. We love you. Bye. See ya. Stop it.